Hello, my name is Anna Bernal, and I will be presenting information on cognitive and physical development in stages from birth to age 2. So, the Piaget theory, it is said to believe that we are continuously trying to maintain cognitive equilibrium or balance, but it is much harder for children to be in this state because of new skills, new challenges, new objects, and a new environment. But we also have to let them know that and that children have to learn how to differentiate between what is a cat, for example, what is a cat and what is a dog. That not any walking animal with 4 legs is a cat. So then the child's brain starts to assimilate and starts to recognize, oh, not all walking animals with 4 legs are cats or dogs or vice versa. So then we have the sensory motor stages, and we have substages depending on the age of the child. They are milestones that they have to meet. So we have memory. Infants' memory is not fully developed, therefore are forgetful. But it is common because the brain is not fully developed. But it is stated that by 6 months, their memory is much more advanced because of continuous repetition. So language is another cognitive development. It is a way to communicate, and there are stages or components that make up language and why a child pronounces certain words in a certain way. These terms are called a phoneme, a morpheme, a syntax, pragmatics. So where does the brain learn and store language? For the 90% who are right-handed, language is stored and controlled by the left cerebral cortex, although for some left-handers the pattern is reversed. So we have an area called the Broca's area, where is an area in front of the left hemisphere near the motor cortex where it is responsible for language production. So then another question is, what happens if children do not learn these language skills between, that critical time? Well, it is very important for the caregiver and the parent to teach them this, but as we all know, every child will develop in their own way. So we have the nervous system. This is where children start to develop emotion and other skills like, learning how to trust someone, fear, anxiety, and the theory of Erikson, the trust versus mistrust. They're more aware of their surroundings. They're more aware of why certain things make them feel a certain way, but it is up to us to teach them and how to control these emotions. And there are some tips to regulate the nervous system, like teach them self-awareness, offer coping strategies, and praise and encourage their achievements at all times. So then moving on to physical development in the nervous system, we have 4 lobes. We have the frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. All of these lobes are responsible for different skills that we develop throughout our life. For example, where to process information, vision, language, and hearing. So the infant sense of hearing is very keen at birth, and the ability to hear is there, but not as advanced as as they move on with their age. Touch and pain, smell are also some cognitive skills that an infant and a child starts to develop. As far as nutrition, breast milk is their number 1 source of nutrition or formula. But a note to cover or a note to remember is that if the mom has HIV, then breast milk should not be given because it can be passed along as well. And then solids should be introduced when the child is ready, normally between 5 months, or when at least the child is able to sit up straight because of choking hazards. We also have malnutrition in children. It is common, and it is up to us to especially as healthcare workers, to know if a child is malnourished or on the verge of of other negative things or diseases, and it is up to us to recognize those signs and symptoms of the child. So like I mentioned, we have the sensory development, vision, hearing, touch, pain, taste, and smell, and the nutrition that we just covered. These are my resources. Thank you.